Mega cap tech names, including Alphabet, Meta, and Microsoft, they are expected to report quarterly results after the bell. Joining us right now, Brad Erickson. He is the RBC Capital Markets Internet Service Senior Analyst. Good morning to you. So we were talking earlier in this hour just about how it seems every time a company announces they're going to be spending more money to build data centers, more money in the world of AI, that the stock goes up rather than down. Do you think that that is going to be the case this afternoon?
Yeah, I know it's counterintuitive, right? Yeah, potentially. I mean, our checks have been really strong for the quarter through for Meta. And so we do think the core business and revenue is generally ripping. And so if they do continue to print a little bit of upside, again, it's a similar story to the past several quarters. That gives them the leash to go ahead and spend more. And as you said, generally, that's been a good thing for the stocks.
What do you make? You know, Meta announced that big deal last week with Blue Owl, where effectively they were taking some of the risk, or I'd say a lot of the risk, off of their balance sheet and putting it on in a sort of a private credit scenario. I think we're seeing a lot more of those kinds of transactions, though they do provide these guarantees over time to the Blue Owls of the world. That's effectively how they're collateralizing these things. What do you think of those deals and how we should think about them?
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly a little bit of suspicion of is something weird going on there. I think generally with Meta, I don't worry about it as much. I think what's going on there, the story is they are seeking capacity for AI compute anywhere they can find it by any means possible. They're already spending a truckload of money. Everyone's aware of this. But if they can get a little bit more and not have to put it on the balance sheet, I think that's okay. And the backstop there is they're generating a ton of cash. These guys are going to do over $100 billion of EBIT next year. So the money's there to ultimately pay the bills, I think.
And in terms of how they make the AI investment work, you know, we were talking to Brian Chesky from Airbnb earlier, I guess last week, and he made a comment. We're talking about whether this is a religion or whether there's actual ROI to this. Can you pencil it out?
It's difficult at this case, I think, and this is where we framed this quarter as kind of a numbers versus narrative type scenario. If the numbers are good, like I said earlier, it gives you the ability to underwrite those investments. I think the issue, to your point, and what people are struggling with a little bit right now on Meta is, you know, the models that they've produced, Llama, is perceived as being a little bit behind. Mark's spending billions of dollars on 30 or 40 really smart people to see if they can sort of shore up that gap. And things like Meta AI or search or some of the things we were probably hoping we would be talking about a little bit more maybe a year ago, we're not really talking about those from a business perspective yet. So, yeah, I think it's a fair concern into next year. And frankly, it's holding a lot of investors back from owning the stock right now, I think.
I'm as addicted as ever to Instagram, much to my chagrin. I wish I wasn't, but it is, you know,
just wrote printing, a book. It's okay.
It's printing money, of course. My question is, how do you in an AI world where more and more people are using ChatGPT and other things, and basically your attention for time is what is on offer here? Do you see any change in sort of time spent and advertising that's going to be delivered?
Yeah, I mean, I think from every angle we've been able to analyze it thus far, we're seeing time spent or the number of searches in that case expand. And that's not just a ChatGPT statement. That's also a Google statement. So I think what's happening specifically is as people use these tools more and more often and more daily, it's prompting sort of new creative thought where people are suddenly realizing, gosh, I didn't ever think about searching for that. Let's go do that. And so I think it is spawning or prompting more creative thought and creative searches in people's daily lives.
Of this afternoon's earnings reports, obviously Meta, Alphabet, which obviously owns Google, and Microsoft, which stock would you want to own, and is there one that you wouldn't own in this moment?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, we have outperforms on all three. I do think setup-wise, you know, again, my job is to analyze fundamental trends, demand trends in the market. Meta is clearly the standout there, so I'd have to point to them. Google is fine, and I think the search business is actually going quite well. The problem is after they got through that lawsuit sort of unscathed with the DOJ, I think a lot of investors have had to play catch up to get from underweight to equal weight on that stock. So Google's much more well owned this quarter than it was last quarter.